Hi everyone. After I finished taping tonight's episode, I got ambitious and spent an hour and a half getting the remains of the old windshield out. This is the old windshield, and right where my toe is where the cutting wire kinked and caused the crack that split the windshield in half. The rest is from taking it out, and that's really unfortunate because I had gotten across the bottom, all up through here, all cut. And here is where, because the cutting cable kinked, the whole windshield was ruined. So 2-3 hours of work, careful work, shot. But that's life. Now, what I wanted to talk about was windshields, because you know, it dawned on me, most people don't know a lot about the windshield. Windshields are made out of what's called a tempered laminate glass. There's 2 layers of glass, sometimes more, layered to a piece of very specific plastic in the middle. And this is all designed so that if you get hit, you get that kind of damage. It doesn't bust into chunks, come inside and tear you apart. It also keeps you inside the vehicle. Now, the other thing you'll see is the black stuff along the edge. Since the 70s, rubber gaskets to hold windshields in have been phased out. And now we glue them in with a product generically called urethane. Now this is important because it makes up part of the structure of your car. You'll see in here how the laminate is bonded right to the structure. And the glass becomes part of the overall unibody. So when you get a crack in the glass, yeah, it's like having a crack in any other part of the car. You really want to get it addressed. But when properly installed, and this one was well installed and had sat there for, I guess it must have been pushing 40 years, it really don't want to come out. And that's a good thing. It has to be cut out and carefully at that. Now if you look deep in here, you'll see why the windshield has to come out. Those are the bolts that secure the dash. So one way or the other, the windshield had to come out. And I really wanted it intact, but luck didn't have it with me this time. So we ended up with a broken one. The other reason you're seeing this car come apart, now that we're getting a little deeper, is you can see the rust. And it's in the strangest of places. I have never seen a rad support rust this badly. And that's what makes these projects take so long. And if you look deep and dark in here on the inside, you'll find it's rusted as well. So this poor car, just from sitting, has deteriorated this way. Not because of an accident, not because of abuse, just because it was left uncovered and ignored for decades. And while you can get away with that with some stuff, like my old Chevy truck, we kind of got away with that because the metal's so thick. But the newer cars and trucks, you leave them sit long enough and they will just dissolve before your eyes. Now, for me, with this car, it's two-sided. If you see the serial number, and if you check the registry on the British Leyland Motor Vehicle Registry, this is the last TR7 imported to Canada. But the rust is so bad, there's just no way to save it. And it really breaks my heart. So every time I take a step and I find good metal, I start thinking I should save it. And then I find more rust. And really breaks my heart. Now, the other thing, after a windshield's out, notice, I vacuumed everything. All the tiny shards of glass that bust off are a real pain. And there is nothing worse than getting the windshield out, and then every time you put down your hand, you get a stab of glass. You got to vacuum, you got to clean up after yourself. And while you're at it, you notice I always wear glasses when I'm working on a vehicle. Well, part of that's because my close-in vision isn't what it used to be. The other part is they're safety glasses. And when doing glass, we have the mask was on my face the whole time, as well as really good gloves. Working with a windshield, getting it out safely without hurting yourself, you got to have some knowledge. And I leave my driver's windshields to other people to replace them. I don't have insurance, I just pay the price. Because it is a profession that takes some serious work. Don't ever let anybody try and convince you you can use silicone instead of urethane. Not safe. And if you're getting a windshield replaced by anybody, any mainline shop, ask them what kind of urethane it is and ask them to show you the rating on it. And it's the same with the glass. When you see the glass up close, it's a minor modern miracle just how strong that glass is as long as it's bonded in place. Once they're out, or when you're trying to take them out, they're fragile as heck. But bonded in place, they are brutally strong. So there's a little more from Real Builds for tonight. We're going to leave you again. I just thought I should get this in because I got mad and got the rest of it out. And this will help us continue along the way. It also meant we piled up a bunch more parts, fittings and trim and fasteners and other pieces. So until we talk to you again, take care. From Real Builds, BS and Bench Racing.